Good evening. Welcome to Monday's North West Tonight with Annabelle Tiffin. Our top story. A mother whose daughter died after contracting measles urges parents to get their children vaccinated. It comes after a child died in Alderhay Hospital. Liverpool has the lowest rates of vaccinations outside of London. Also tonight, I've never felt a punch like it. A female police officer gives evidence at the Manchester Airport brawl trial. The Oasis epic reunion wows the crowds at Heaton Park. It even reduced some of the 80,000 there to tears.
Just amazing. Filling up. I was filling up coming through security. The guy said, "Are you all right?" I'm going, "Yeah, fine."
Running the bases in Bootle, we're with the country's oldest baseball team making a pitch off the playoffs.
And a very different feel to the weather this week. Cooler, fresher, but with showers never too far away. Join me at the end of the programme. I'll give you all the forecast.
One of the police officers allegedly assaulted by two brothers in a brawl at Manchester Airport last summer has told their trial how she'd never felt a punch like it when she was hit. Mohammed Amaz and Mohammed Ahmad from Rochdale say they were acting in self-defence during the incident, which the jury was told went viral. But PC Ellie Cook denied using unlawful force herself when she struck one of the brothers. Phil McCann has been at Liverpool Crown Court.
Today, the 45-second incident at Manchester Airport last July was again dissected in front of the jury in close detail. They watched footage which they were told went viral last summer. The prosecution said the world knows that one officer, Zachary Marsden, delivered a kick to the head of a man who was lying on the ground. That man was Mohammed Amaz. Three officers were looking for him because of reports of a fight nearby in Terminal 2 arrivals. PC Ellie Cook gave evidence today, one of two armed officers who responded. She said as they went to arrest the man who she now knows is Mr. Amaz, she could feel his muscles were tensing up before he pushed and resisted. His brother, Mohammed Ahmad, then came from behind. When someone hit her, PC Cook said she'd never felt a punch like it. It made her stumble and made her vision blurry, she said. Later punches from Mr. Amaz, she said, made her fall to the floor. She then used her taser on him. Now, the two brothers deny assault, and their case is that they're acting in self-defence. And Imran Khan KC, defending Mr. Amaz, put it to PC Cook this afternoon that they approached him from behind, and so he couldn't have known that they were police officers. Not initially, she accepted, but she said later he would have seen them and would have been aware of who they were. Representing his brother, Mr. Amaz, Chloe Gardner asked PC Cook about what was termed in court a strike that she delivered to her client. She said that, she put it to her, that was disproportionate, unnecessary and unlawful. She replied that that was an opinion and one that she disagreed with. The case continues here tomorrow. Phil McCann, BBC North West Tonight, Liverpool Crown Court.
8 people, including 2 young children, have been taken to hospital after a crash involving 6 vehicles on the M6 in Lancashire. It happened at around 10:30 this morning between junctions 33 and 32 near Lancaster. The southbound carriageway remains closed for repairs and there are long delays going northbound. Campaigners for a Hillsborough law say they are angry another attempt to get the original version of the bill through Parliament has been blocked. It was first drawn up in 2017 and included a duty of candour, which would compel public servants and authorities to tell the truth at inquiries. The government says it is committed to a Hillsborough law. There are renewed fears it will be watered down.
I'm so passionate to get this done for the ordinary people. I'm really angry that he walks away and he's going out the door and he says to me, "Is there anything else, Margaret, that you can think?" I just said, "Yes, Mr. Starmer, please, just do the right thing."
The Coast Guard has issued a warning about rising tides after a series of rescues over the weekend. In Lancashire, a lifeboat crew pulled 2 people from a vehicle near Sunderland Point. And in Wirral, 15 people were rescued in 2 separate incidents when they were caught out by tides near Leoso Lighthouse. And in Morecambe, 2 more were rescued from a sinking boat by the lifeboat crew. The UK's oldest Flymo, which has been passed through 3 generations of the same family, has been inducted into the Lawnmower Hall of Fame in Southport. The rare blue mower, which is 60 years old, was carried down the red carpet for a special ceremony at the British Lawnmower Museum this morning. It was donated by Peter Goddard from Northamptonshire.
My uncle, who lives in Kenya, came over and brought it for his mother and father. When they died, it was passed down to my father-in-law, and when he died, it was passed down to me. I'm really pleased that it's done well, and anybody else can see it now for the rest of the time, like, you know.
Now, after the government's bruising battle over welfare reform, changes to support for children and young people with special educational needs could be the next battleground. The numbers of people needing extra help for things like learning disabilities and social or mental health challenges has been rising sharply, and figures that we've obtained show costs are rising too. Here's our Manchester political reporter, Kevin Fitzpatrick.
Probably when he was in year 1 was when we first started noticing major differences, and that's when we started going down the route for a diagnosis.
Jen's son's 17 now, but she feels him receiving an education, health and care plan at primary school changed his life.
The difference it made for my son is he was in education. If he'd had to stay in a mainstream school, he wouldn't have coped. He couldn't cope with the large class sizes. It led to unwanted behaviours, and it led to suspension, which would have led to exclusion.
They're one of more than 4,000 families who've been supported by this Oldham-based charity, and concerns about a review of the system are growing.
You've got headlines saying that education, health and care plans are being taken away from children that are educated in a mainstream setting, and that will bring fear and anxiety and a cause for concern. So it's what families really need is the detail that sits behind it, and actually, you know, as parent and family voice incorporated into the plans, because that's really important, because the lived experience that families have are really crucial.
Last week, leading charities and academics signed a letter warning reforms mustn't leave vulnerable children without the protections they bring.
That still needs to be done within kind of a legal framework and a legal requirement. So making EHCPs not available for children in mainstream schools essentially means that there's no kind of legal duty for local authorities to be meeting their needs, that there's no legal duty for them to be providing the funding that that child needs. And I think that's where it's crucial that that bit kind of remains.
The Education Secretary said her intention is to strengthen and put in place better support for children, but she's so far declined to rule out scrapping them.
You've got a little bit of respite with an EHCP. You're not as worried that they might get excluded tomorrow, and with that being taken away, you're right back to square one with that worry every day. So yeah, if I was at the beginning of my journey now, I'd be worried.
Kevin Fitzpatrick reporting. Now, last week we told you about the worrying rise in measles cases in Liverpool. This weekend came the tragic news that a child has died in Alderhay Hospital of the disease. Well, health leaders around the region are now pleading with parents to get their children vaccinated. Our health correspondent Jill Dummigan is in the studio now to tell us more. Jill.
Yes, but as you say there, Annabelle, a tragic case, and we don't know if this child was vaccinated or not, but what we do know is that Merseyside is currently experiencing a rise in measles cases, as is the whole of the North West. The most recent official figures we've got are till the end of June, and this shows that this year there have been 64 cases of measles in this region, a quarter of them in June itself. Alderhay Hospital's seen 17 cases in the past 6 weeks. So it's really important that children get fully vaccinated, but that's not happening enough. In Liverpool, it's just 73%, in Manchester 75%, much lower than the national average and way below the rate needed to stop outbreaks from happening, which is 95%. Now, that's known as herd immunity. It means that everyone's protected, even if they're unable or too young to have been vaccinated, and that really matters. This morning, I spoke to a mum who's going to explain why.
She was my right arm, really. Yeah, we was best friends. She was sassy and bubbly. She loved singing and dancing, reading. She loved reading. She was so caring. She's just, as you'd say, the perfect child.
In 2023, when Renee was 10, the school rang Rebecca to say she'd had a seizure.
So I ran up to the school and took her to the hospital, and they referred her to the epilepsy clinic and sent her home.
Renee had always seemed healthy, but now she started to get repeat seizures. She was in and out of hospital for tests.
Eventually, after probably been going on for around 2 months, she lost the ability to speak and eat, and then she went into ICU.
Renee had a rare brain disease called SSPE. It was a complication brought on by measles she'd had when she was just 5 months old, when she was too young to have been vaccinated. In the 1940s, hundreds of people were dying every year in this country from measles. By the 1990s, it was single figures, and that's because in 1968 a national vaccination programme was launched. But even now, if you're not vaccinated, measles can be a major problem. It's estimated that in 2023 alone, nearly 108,000 people died globally from the disease. To protect babies who are too young to be vaccinated and other vulnerable people, 95% of the population needs to have had the jab, because one person can infect between 15 and 20 others. But in recent years, that rate has dropped sharply. Eventually, doctors had to tell Renee's family that nothing more could be done.
I think the worst of it all was we had to make the decision to turn her life support off. That was the most horrendous part, watching her go. Yeah, because it was so prolonged as well.
The death of another child in Liverpool has prompted another plea from health officials to parents to get their children vaccinated. Rebecca spoke to us today because she wants people to understand the potential consequences of not doing that.
It just doesn't seem fair. And I think that's why it's important to get the message out there of wouldn't want another family or another mother to lose a child for something so simple as getting a vaccination that could prevent the loss of your child. Yeah.
Jill Dummigan, BBC North West Tonight.
Well, let's get some more stories in the Northwest this evening. 4,000 homes and businesses in Cumbria have registered doorbell or CCTV cameras to help fight crime. Police hope the cameras may capture evidence following any incidents. The singer who sang You'll Never Walk Alone as a tribute to Diego Jota before yesterday's match at Preston says she couldn't look at the fans as she would have burst into tears. And a new nature reserve to mark King Charles's coronation has finally opened. The Risley, Holcroft and Chatmoss National Nature Reserve has been 10,000 years in the making. Find out more at bbc.co.uk/local news or on the BBC News app. Now, after nearly 80 years in Ulverston, the pharmaceutical company GlaxoSmithKline has ended production at the Cumbrian plant, with the site director calling it a sad time for the town. Meanwhile, the town's MP, whose family has plenty of links with the company, is optimistic that the site will have a future offering jobs and opportunities for the area. Phil Chapman reports.
Where there used to be a community of thousands of workers, just a few seagulls watch over the almost empty GlaxoSmithKline plant in Ulverston, together with the remaining site manager, Phil Wilson. Coming from the area, it's not an easy task to oversee the end of an era on his doorstep.
Yeah, I'm sad to say that I'll be the person at the end of the day closing this factory, but immensely proud. You know, the team have delivered, not just recently, but over those 78 years, been a part of the community as well, and we've served over 2 billion patients. And saved people's lives as a result of that with the medicines that's come from the Ulverston facility.
Local MP Michelle Scrogham and her family have their history rooted in the site.
Glaxo's the reason I was born in Ulverston. So my family were from the other side of the Pennines. My father moved over for a job at Glaxo's, it was known back then, before we were all born, and settled here. But then more importantly, I met my husband Graham, who was an apprentice at Glaxo when we were both very, very young. And he spent an awful lot of very happy years working for Glaxo as well.
The site had most recently been producing an antibiotic for a Swiss firm, but as for the future, an early-stage master plan for a new science and manufacturing hub has been previously talked about, and hopes are high that the site won't stay empty for long.
Obviously, there's commercial sensitivities, so we can't talk about what's likely to be on the site going forward. But I am extremely hopeful that we're going to see some really strong, well-paid jobs supported at that site as we go forward. I've long campaigned for it. It needs that kind of input into Ulverston. It's always been such a strong area for work. Everybody growing up through school, that was where they wanted to go and work. It was those really well-paid jobs, and it was stable for the town. And I want to see that continue for many, many years after Glaxo leave the site.
Phil Chapman, BBC North West Tonight, Ulverston.
Right, we're going to move on to sport now. Ian is here, and Ian, a Tour de France stage win today for Berry's Simon Yates.
Yes, Annabelle, it's not long since he won the Giro d'Italia overall, is it? But now he's won stage 10 of the Tour de France, having gone on the attack in the mountains to break away from a breakaway group. This was the moment he crossed the finish line in first place, with not too much to spare after what's been, by his own admission, a relatively disappointing start to the tour before today. Elsewhere today, the group that owns Burnley are taking over Spanish side Espanyol. Velocity Sport Limited will become... After a season of on and off-field problems, Salford Red Devils got their second win of the Super League season at home to Castleford Tigers yesterday. After 13 straight defeats, they came from behind to win 26-22. Chris Hankinson was among the try scorers in a win that left head coach Paul Rowley questioning whether he felt relieved, happy or even embarrassed. Elsewhere, there are also wins for Wigan, Warrington, St Helens and Lee Leopards here, who beat the leaders Hull KR. Josh Charnley created his own little bit of history, scoring his 250th and 251st Super League tries. Well done to him. Now, they had a blip with Friday's defeat to Yorkshire at a packed Emirates Old Trafford on Friday. We were there, of course. But Lancashire Lightning are now top of the northern group of the T20 Blast, and hopefully they'll be eventually heading for finals day in September. This was Chris Green with the winning runs, a sixth in yesterday's 3-wicket win over Durham. The Island Games started in Orkney at the weekend, and the Isle of Man team have been winning medals. Manx athletes have already picked up gold, silver and bronze in the triathlon, gymnastics and athletics at the Mini-Olympics, which run until Friday. Krista Kane won 10,000-metre gold, smashing the Games record by 55 seconds.
It's the first time, my first games. So down that bottom corner, we had really amazing support. I could hear them every lap. There's a few dotted around the place. Even like the locals, the Orkney people, they've just been phenomenal. I couldn't be happier, to be honest.
Now, while the Women's Euros, Wimbledon finals and the Lord's Test match dominated the weekend's sport headlines, another event here in the Northwest saw British baseball's oldest club move a step nearer to more honours. Liverpool Trojans were formed back in 1946 by a group of ex-servicemen, and over their illustrious history have won multiple national titles. This season, they're battling for a playoff place, and we went to see them in action yesterday at the Norman Wells Ballpark in Bootle. They call it America's pastime.
And a line drive scalded toward the gap.
Yesterday, 38,000 fans were at Fenway Park to see Boston Red Sox beat Tampa Bay Rays in Major League Baseball. Meanwhile, in Bootle, two of Northern England's finest battled it out as Liverpool Trojans hosted Newcastle Nighthawks.
Liverpool is very much a football-first city, no doubt about that. But we're just happy to have sort of dug out our own little corner of paradise for our game. There's been baseball played here since the 30s. We moved here in the 70s. We've now got 3 teams playing regularly out of here. A lot of baseball happening 4 or 5 days a week. The national team's had a lot of success recently, qualifying and winning a game at the World Baseball Classic. So I think things are on the up.
They certainly are for Team GB's Bethany.
I've come down from the Lake District. I live in Ulverston.
So that's a bit of a trek coming to Liverpool.
Unfortunately, there's no longer a team up in the Lake District, but I got into baseball through university and I just didn't want to lose the opportunity, really. And it's a lot of driving to do, but it is worth it.
Bethany's now self-funding her trip to baseball's Euros.
Finally, we got selected down to that 20. I was actually at work at the time, and I got the call through, and I turned to my colleague. I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is amazing.
Trojans have players from all over the world. First team manager Jose is from Venezuela.
I was playing in, for example, Spain, Italy, Netherlands, Germany, Slovenia. I don't know.
Basically, every country
France.
Every country in the world, it sounds like.
The team that I manage is the Holton Trojans. They're playing on the second diamond. It's purely developmental. It's purely to get players in, playing the game, and it's just about growing the love of the sport, really.
At the American Army base in Warrington, on the only authentic baseball field in the Northwest, the home side, the Burton Wood Braves, do battle with the Liverpool Trojans.
This programme first reported on the Trojans around 40 years ago. UK Hall of Famer Rob was playing for the opposition that day.
We broke up the dominance of the Liverpool Trojans at the time, which was big news because they were national champions.
The basic object of the game is for the batter to hit the ball and to advance round the bases until he comes back to where he started from. When he's done that, even with the assistance of his teammates, he scored one run.
We've always encouraged that family participation whenever the baseball is on, especially on a day like this. I got to know all the families of the team, of the players. It's just been a great privilege for me,
But how tough is this sport?
You're going to start off, OK, with your hands by your ears?
Yeah.
The early indications for this reporter were that it was tricky. Time then to try it for real.
Oh, shit. Do I have to run? Is that no ball?
Oh, mate, sorry.
Second time lucky then. Dignity intact, baseball career over.
Watch and learn, guys.
Well done, Ian. That's a great hit. You're officially part of the squad now.
Yes.
Once a Trojan, always a Trojan.
Trojans. A lot of big names ran through my head when I saw that. Yeah, nothing but potential there.
Thank you, Rob.
I've been part of this for nearly 30 years, and so it's just in my blood now. But it's great to see it taking off in Britain.
1, 2, 3, Trojans!
The future looks good. As does me wearing this cap. I think people over the age of 29 should be banned from wearing caps, but here we are.
You did all right, though.
Well, yeah, better than usual.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And how did they get on, even with your help?
They won yesterday against
right.
Newcastle, so I'm going to wear it backwards,
No,
frankly.
don't. Right. It was a very special weekend in Manchester for quite a few people. Thank you. 16 years in the making when Oasis returned to the stage in their home city as part of their homecoming tour.
80,000 fans attended each gig at Heaton Park. The first 2 of 5 dates there. The band didn't disappoint of the sum, apparently. It was a very emotional occasion, as Zoe Tolls now reports.
A 16-year wait, but the Gallagher brothers are back. Hand in hand, Liam and Noel took to the stage in front of thousands at Heaton Park for the first 2 nights of their homecoming gigs. Fans travelled from across the world to see the special reunion in their hometown of Oasis.
We managed to get tickets from Australia and over we came to be with 80,000 people at Heaton Park. It was brilliant, just crazy.
Filling up. I was filling up coming through security. The guy said, "Are you all right?" I'm going, "Yeah, fine."
It has been like the best day of my life. All the city, I think in every corner you can breathe Oasis everywhere, and so it's like paradise for me.
Left my husband in Australia with the kids. He had to sell his ticket so I could come. He's fuming. But I was buzzing. It was a midnight.
Night of my life, best concert I've been to and probably ever will go to.
One disabled fan was lifted into the air by strangers to get a better view of the stage.
It was very good. It was very interesting. First of all, they said they'd lift the wheelchair. Then they just lifted me out of the wheelchair. I wasn't expecting it.
Everybody was amazing and so friendly. You had so many people coming up to you all day.
All day, literally. I honestly don't think that would happen at any other concert than Oasis.
In the city centre, the streets and bars have been buzzing. Every corner of the city has been going mad for Oasis.
Yeah, the atmosphere has been fantastic. It's been like a carnival. It's people from different cultures, all speaking different languages, but all sing along to the same music. There's a lot of nostalgia, but this music has been a soundtrack to these people's lives.
Those not lucky enough to grab a ticket had to find more creative ways to get a glimpse of the show. Videos on social media show thousands gathering at a hill just outside of the arena. So we're here now in Heaton Park, and this is where thousands of people without tickets gathered over the weekend.
Yeah. Hundreds on Friday, thousands on Saturday. Crowds were there, and you can just look at that tree line and see part of the stage. So obviously they're mad for it. They've got no tickets, so they've gone in. You know, I can't condone what they did, but you know, you will see this all over Britain. There will be public events, free to watch, and after all, the end of the day, it is Manchester, so.
And we've got cattle in here as well.
Yeah,
so
I think well, there's 43. I count them, but they've obviously the cattle have cleared off over there.
There's 3 more gigs to be played at Heaton Park, with the final Manchester show on Sunday. One of the most iconic bands in history are back, and arguably one of the greatest reunion shows of all time. Zoe Toes, BBC North West Tonight.
I wonder if the cows enjoyed it.
Probably.
Right, let's get a look at the weather. Here's Kate.
Hello there. Good evening. Well, it was hot, wasn't it, this weekend? Last night was very uncomfortable. This week, a completely different feel in the weather. We've got a west-southwesterly breeze. That's going to freshen overnight tonight. Still some decent spells of sunshine, but tomorrow we're likely to see some thunderstorms, and then temperatures will pick up again as we head around midweek with a weak ridge of high pressure. There's that low pressure bringing us some rain as we head overnight and into tomorrow, and then it settles down for Wednesday, but further fronts are never too far away as low pressure remains in charge. But as we head overnight tonight, at first anyway, it will be fine and dry. Cloud will increase though, winds will freshen, a few showers at first, and then the main body of rain will start to sweep in to the Isle of Man during the early hours of the morning. Temperatures will be down to about 12 degrees, 54 in Fahrenheit. The winds will have already started to have picked up, and we're looking at gusts of 35 to 45 miles per hour, especially for coastal parts where we'll see some heavy downpours of rain across all parts as we head through the day. Behind it brightening, sunny spells but scattered showers. These are likely to be thunderstorms into the afternoon. And note the temperatures, some spots only 14, 16 degrees. That's a good 10 to 14 degrees lower than it was yesterday. Through Wednesday, though, a weak ridge of high pressure means things will be calmer, a lot of dry and fine weather, some decent spells of sunshine. And in the sunshine, it should do quite well, a high of 23 degrees. It looks like we'll see some showers returning for Thursday, a cloudier day to come then on Friday. And into the weekend with low pressure nearby, the risk of showers at times. That's your forecast.
Looks like the lovely weather's gone.
I'm not bothered.
You've got a hat, you don't mind.
I've got a hat and I burn easily.
That's it. We'll be back with an update at 10:30. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.